Have you ever kept a secret so deep that even love could not reach it? She was a single mother, quiet, resilient, building a life from the ground up for the child she loved more than anything. And then it happened. On the day of a long-awaited job interview, she walked into the office. The man sitting across from her was not a stranger. He was the man from one night long ago. Now, he was the CEO, and he did not know he had a daughter. What would you do? Would you tell the truth? Would you risk the life you have built? Or would you stay silent to protect your child? This is not just a story about fate. It is a story about fear, about choices, about love that waits, even when it hurts. If you have ever loved quietly, this story may feel like yours. Stay with us. The elevator opened with a soft sound. Emma Carter stepped out onto the 34th floor of Silverline Media Group. Her heart beat faster than it should have. She took a deep breath and walked forward. Her heels clicked gently on the polished floor. She wore a navy blue dress. It was secondhand, but she had tailored it to fit just right. Not too bold, not too dull. She wanted to look capable, quietly confident. A woman in a beige suit greeted her near the glass wall. "You must be Emma. Welcome to Silverline. I am Dana, Director of Talent." Emma smiled politely and nodded. Dana held a clipboard. She turned to walk and gestured for Emma to follow. "He is finishing a call. He asked to greet you himself." Emma paused for just a second. She blinked. "He—" Dana looked over her shoulder. "Liam Ashford, our CEO." Emma felt something shift in her chest. Liam, it was a common name. Many men were named Liam. It did not have to be him, but her steps became slower. Her palms felt a little damp. They walked through a large, open workspace. Glass walls framed a view of downtown Seattle. Desks were arranged with neat precision. Soft conversations, keyboard clicks, and the scent of fresh coffee filled the air. It was the kind of place Emma used to imagine, but never thought she would actually work in. Dana stopped in front of a wide glass door. It was slightly open. She knocked once and spoke gently. "Liam, Emma Carter is here." A pause, then a deep voice from inside. "Send her in." Emma stepped closer. Her fingers touched the door handle. She pushed it gently and walked inside. The office was bright and quiet. Large windows filled one wall. The sky above Seattle looked gray and endless. A man stood near the window. He wore a charcoal suit, one hand in his pocket, the other holding a phone. His back was straight, still, composed. He turned. Emma froze. It was him. Same face. Same sharp eyes. Hair darker now. Neater, but unmistakable. It was Liam Ashford. 4 years ago. New Orleans. A hotel bar. A storm. A night she never forgot. A night she never spoke of again. He looked at her. His expression shifted for the briefest moment. Recognition, then control. He stepped forward with a calm, professional tone. "Emma, nice to meet you." He offered his hand. She reached out. Their palms touched. Warm, familiar. She let go quickly. "Thank you," she said softly. "Glad to be here." Dana stepped back. "I will give you two a few minutes. Let me know if you need anything." Then she left. The door closed behind her. Silence filled the room, but it was not empty. Liam walked toward a chair beside his desk. He gestured for her to sit. "Please, take a seat." Emma nodded. She sat upright, her hands folded tightly in her lap. She did not know what to say. She did not know what he was thinking. He sat across from her, not behind his desk. Closer. A quiet gesture, but it spoke volumes. He watched her with calm eyes. How long have you been in Seattle? He asked. Emma breathed carefully. I moved here last week. I came from Portland. He nodded once. Your application stood out. You came highly recommended. She gave a small smile. I appreciate the chance. Liam leaned back slightly. I have a good memory, especially for faces. Her heart skipped, but she held his gaze. I know. The silence after that was not cold, but it was full, heavy with something unspoken. Emma looked down, then up again. You do not have to say anything. That night, it was not meant to go anywhere. I left. I never expected. But it stayed, Liam said. His voice was calm, but there was weight in it. Emma looked at him, her voice low. Does this change anything? I do not know, he said. She nodded. A soft knock broke the tension. Dana peeked in again. Your 10 o'clock meeting is ready, Liam replied, without looking away from Emma. Delay it by 15 minutes. Dana nodded and disappeared again. Liam folded his hands in front of him. I assume no one knows. Emma shook her head. No one. Just me. A pause. And her? His eyes shifted slightly. He heard the meaning in those words, but said nothing yet. Emma stood. If this is going to be a problem, I understand. I can step back. Liam stood too. No. You were hired for your skill. I approved your file before I saw your face. She nodded slowly. Then we keep it professional. He replied simply. Agreed. She turned to go. At the door, he spoke again. Emma? She looked back. Is she well? Emma hesitated, but only for a second. Her name is Lily. She is 4. She is healthy, smart, a little stubborn, but beautiful. Liam nodded. His eyes softened, but only slightly. Thank you, he said. Emma opened the door. She stepped out into the hallway. Her heart was still racing. Nothing about this job was going to be simple. But she had come this far. She was not going to run again. 4 years earlier. New Orleans. October. The air had been thick with rain that night. Heavy clouds rolled in over the Mississippi River. The wind carried music from Bourbon Street and the scent of gumbo from small kitchens. The city had its own rhythm, half chaos, half charm. Emma Carter had been sitting alone at the hotel bar. She had flown to New Orleans for a creative marketing workshop. Her agency had paid for 2 days. She had spent the second day crying in the hotel bathroom. That morning, her manager had told her they were downsizing. Her position would likely be next. They had called it strategic reorganization. Emma had called it a warning. She had ordered one drink, then a second. Her dress was plain, her hair pulled back. She was not looking for company, but someone had noticed her. He had asked if the seat was taken, his voice calm, polite, his eyes sharp but not unkind. She had nodded. He sat beside her, ordered a whiskey. They had not introduced themselves, not at first. He said he was in town for meetings. He did not name the company. She did not ask. He asked why she looked like someone had stolen her sunshine. She had laughed. Then she told him the truth. Her job, her fear, the feeling that her dreams were slipping away. He listened, not with sympathy, but with focus, as if every word mattered. That surprised her more than anything. He told her he knew what pressure felt like, what it meant to feel trapped in a role that looked perfect on paper, but empty inside. That surprised her too. Most men she had met tried to impress her with titles and money. This man was different. They talked for 2 hours. She had never felt so safe with someone she knew so little about. At midnight, The lights in the bar dimmed. She stood to leave. He asked if she wanted to walk by the river. She said yes. The air was cool and damp. They walked without speaking for a while. Then he reached for her hand. She let him. They returned to the hotel together. The room was quiet, warm. His touch was gentle. Her heart was not calm, but it was steady. She let herself fall, not into love, but into something softer, something she needed. She remembered the way he looked at her, not like a stranger, like someone who had known her before. That night was not wild. It was quiet, close, almost tender. In the morning, sunlight spilled into the room. She woke first. He was still sleeping. His arm rested across her waist, his breath steady. She stared at the ceiling for a long time. Then, she slipped out of bed. Quiet as she could, she dressed, wrote no note, left no name. She had told herself it was better that way. No strings, no complications. She flew back to Portland that afternoon. A week later, she realized her cycle was late. At first, she did not panic, but after 2 more weeks, she bought a test. The second pink line changed her life. Emma had stood in the small bathroom of her apartment, holding the test in both hands, staring at it, shaking. There was no one to call. She did not even know his last name. She had considered all her options. She had no family. Her mother had passed 5 years earlier. Her father was not in her life. She had a few friends, but none close enough to carry this with her. She had sat on the floor for hours that night, her hand over her stomach, her mind loud with fear, but in the quiet, she felt something else too. Not regret, not anger, a tiny flicker of something that felt like hope. So she kept the child. She named the baby Lily. She worked through the pregnancy, took extra jobs, saved every dollar, gave up every comfort that was not necessary. Her old agency finally let her go. She found freelance work where she could. Nights were hardest, but she kept going. When Lily was born, Emma cried harder than she had ever cried before. The nurse placed the baby in her arms, tiny, warm, breathing. She remembered whispering, "I will protect you, no matter what." And she had. For 4 years, Emma had built a world around Lily. Not perfect, but safe, simple, real. She never tried to find the man from New Orleans. She had no way to start, no last name, no company, no details beyond a face and a voice, and one night that had changed everything. Now, standing in the hallway at Silverline, she remembered it all: the hotel room, the river, the morning she left, and the moment earlier today, when Liam had said her name, when he had asked, softly, "Is she well?" He did not know yet, not really, but she knew it would come. He would ask. She would have to tell him. Emma leaned against the wall, outside his office. Her heart beat in her throat. She closed her eyes. One hand brushed across her stomach, a habit from years ago. When Lily was still growing inside, the past had found her, and it was no longer quiet. The next morning, the city of Seattle wore its usual gray. The streets shimmered with a thin layer of mist. The buildings looked taller in the damp air. People moved quickly, coats drawn tight, coffee cups in hand. Emma Carter stood on the sidewalk outside Silverline Media Group. She wore a dark coat and held a leather bag close to her side. Her heart beat steady, but her thoughts were scattered. She had not slept much. All night. She had replayed his face, the way he said her name. The moment he asked about Lily, she had answered, briefly, honestly. But what came next, that part still waited. She took a deep breath and stepped inside the building. On the executive floor, the air was clean and cool. The light from the large windows spilled across glass desks and dark wood paneling. Everything felt designed with intention, like nothing here was accidental. Her new workspace sat just outside his office. A wide desk, 3 monitors, a tablet, phone lines connected to every department, a small drawer labeled for confidential documents. Emma stood beside it for a moment, just breathing it in. A woman in a navy dress walked over. She had short silver hair and a badge clipped neatly to her blouse. "You must be Emma. I am Janice. I assist the senior VPs. You are in the hot seat now." Emma smiled, unsure. Janice gave a knowing look. "Working right outside that door, it is like sitting next to a thunderstorm, controlled, but full of energy." Emma looked at the frosted glass door that led to the office of Liam Ashford. "I can handle it," she said. Janice smiled. "That is what they all say. Let me know if you need anything." By 10 o'clock, Emma was sorting through project briefs and client requests. Her fingers moved quickly across the keyboard. She was good at this. She had always been good at it. And then the door behind her opened. She felt it before she saw it. Liam walked out, holding a tablet and a coffee cup. No tie. Shirt sleeves rolled once, his hair slightly tousled. "Good morning," he said. His tone was even, but his eyes lingered for half a second too long. Emma nodded. "Good morning." He handed her the tablet. "I need the proposal for Haven Foods reviewed. Mark anything that feels too vague. Also prepare a summary of the research behind the pitch." She took it without hesitation. "Of course." He hesitated. "Coffee." She blinked. "Pardon." "I usually take it black, 2 sugars." He said it flat, like a fact, but they both remembered. New Orleans, room service. That morning before she slipped away, he had asked her how she knew exactly how he liked his coffee. Now she just nodded. "I will bring it in 10 minutes." The day moved fast. Emails, meetings, phone calls, deadlines. Emma worked without pause, but she felt him. Every time he passed her desk, every time his voice rose in the next room, every glance through the glass. And once, late in the afternoon, when he leaned over her shoulder to view a draft on her screen, his hand rested on the desk, just inches from hers. His breath slowed. So did hers. She could smell the faint hint of his cologne. Something clean. Something like memory. She did not move. And then he stepped back. "Looks solid," he said. She nodded. "Thank you." At 5:30, most of the staff had left. Emma stayed to finish a final brief. The office lights dimmed slightly. The sky outside turned soft with early dusk. Rain tapped gently on the glass. She packed her things slowly. Liam stepped out of his office just as she reached for her coat. "Emma," he said. She looked at him. "Yes." He did not speak right away. Then, his voice low. "I was not prepared for this." She stood still. "I was not either." He nodded. "Tomorrow, I have a meeting with our general counsel. If there is anything I should know about custody, or..." She raised her hand gently. "No lawyers, please." His jaw tightened. "I just want to understand." Emma softened. "You will. But not here. Not tonight." He stepped closer. Not too close. "Then when..." She paused. "Let me find the words first." He looked down, then back at her. "She is mine. I can feel it." Emma felt something shift inside. "Yes," she said. "She is." He closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them again. "Thank you for telling me. She gave a small nod, then walked toward the elevator. She did not look back. In the elevator, she stood alone. Her reflection in the silver doors looked calm, but inside, the storm still moved. He was not angry. Not yet. He was trying, and she was too. But nothing about this would be easy. Lily was 4 years old. She had never asked about her father. Only once, in passing, had she said, "Do I have one?" And Emma had answered, "You have me." But now, everything would change. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow, but soon, and Emma would need to be ready. The next few days passed with careful rhythm. Emma arrived early, stayed late, worked without complaint. She handled his meetings, filtered emails, prepared presentations, never missed a beat. On the surface, everything looked professional. But underneath, something had changed, not loudly, not suddenly. It was quiet, like the soft hum of electricity beneath a floor, like a radio playing in another room. She felt it when he entered a space. He felt it when she said his name. One afternoon, she brought in a file to review. Liam was standing at the window, arms crossed, deep in thought. He turned when she walked in. His eyes softened, just for a second. She handed him the file. Updated budget projections for the Winston campaign. He took it, did not speak. Instead, he looked at her face, like he was searching for something behind her expression. She looked back, calm but alert. He set the file on the desk. "Are you sleeping well?" The question surprised her. Emma paused. "I sleep enough." He studied her for another moment, then nodded. Okay. Later that same day, she was walking past the boardroom, through the glass. She saw him in a meeting. His hand rested on the table, one finger tapping slowly, his posture relaxed, but his jaw tight. She recognized that look. She had seen it once, that night in New Orleans, when he talked about his father, about pressure, about pretending everything was under control. She kept walking, but she thought about it all afternoon. That evening, Emma sat on her living room couch. Lily was beside her with crayons and a coloring book. "Are you tired, Mama?" Lily asked without looking up. "A little," Emma replied. "Was work hard today?" Emma looked down at her daughter. Not hard, just full. Lily frowned. "Did the people yell at you?" Emma smiled gently. "No, honey, no yelling. Just quiet thinking." Lily tilted her head. "Like when you do not talk. But I know you are mad," Emma laughed. "Yes, something like that." The next morning, Liam came in early. Emma had not expected him before 8. He was already at his desk when she arrived. Tie off, shirt sleeves rolled up. "Morning," he said without looking up. "Good morning," she replied. She brought him coffee, 2 sugars, no cream. He looked at the cup, then at her. "Thank you." She gave a small nod, then turned to leave. "Emma," he called. She turned back. He held up a piece of paper. "Would you join me for lunch tomorrow, upstairs? Just us." She hesitated. "Work-related." His answer came slow. "Partly." Emma considered, then said, "Yes." That night, she could not sleep, not because she was afraid, but because the air felt full again, full of questions. What would he say? What would he ask? Would he talk about Lily? She stared at the ceiling. Her fingers touched the bracelet Lily had made from yarn and beads. She wore it every night. It reminded her why she had chosen the harder path, why she had stayed quiet, stayed strong, why she had never looked back, until now. Lunch came the next day. Liam had reserved a private conference space on the top floor. Big windows, a long table, 2 plates, 2 glasses of water. He stood when she entered. "Thank you for coming." Emma sat down. The room was quiet. He served the salad himself, then sat across from her. They ate a few bites in silence. Then he said it. "I do not want to miss everything." She looked up. "Everything." "Lily, I do not want to miss her life." Emma placed her fork down slowly. "You do not know her yet. I want to. She is careful with strangers. I can be patient." Emma leaned back. "What do you expect this to look like?" "I do not know," he admitted. "But I want to find out." She nodded. "That is fair." He looked out the window for a moment, then back at her. "I keep thinking, what if I had woken up before you left?" Emma breathed in through her nose. Her chest tightened. "Then maybe none of this would exist." He paused. "Would that have been better?" She shook her head. "No, just different." Another moment passed. Liam reached into his coat pocket. He pulled out a folded piece of paper. It was the drawing Lily had made. Janice had shown it to him yesterday. It had been accidentally left in a folder of presentation drafts. Stick figures, 1 woman, 1 child, 1 tall man. Lily had labeled them Mama, me, maybe Daddy. Liam held it carefully. "I have never wanted anything more than I want to earn this place in her picture." Emma said nothing, but her hand trembled on her lap. She did not cry. She only whispered, "Then start showing up." The rain came hard that morning. Emma stood in the hallway, phone pressed to her ear, lips slightly parted. Her coat was half on, her hair loose. Her voice was barely above a whisper. "How high is her fever?" Janice, who was placing files on Emma S.'s desk, paused. She caught the shift in Emma S.'s tone. Emma closed her eyes. "I am on my way." She grabbed her bag and turned. Liam had just stepped out of his office. She met his eyes. "My daughter is sick. I need to leave. Now." His body tensed. "How sick?" "She has a high fever. Rosa is with her. But she says Lily is not waking easily." He moved toward her, fast. "Do you need a ride? I will be fine." "You are shaking," he said. Emma looked down at her hands. Her keys slipped. Liam caught them. "Let me take you. I will drive. You can sit with her in the back." For a moment, she wanted to argue, but her breath caught in her chest. She nodded. "Okay." The drive to the hospital was quiet. Emma sat in the back seat. Her fingers touched Lily, a small hand. The child lay across her lap, eyes closed, skin flushed. Rosa sat beside her, wringing her hands. Liam drove without a word, his hands steady on the wheel, his eyes flicking between traffic and the mirror. "Is she allergic to anything?" he asked. "No." "Any medical conditions?" "None." "Did she eat breakfast?" Emma shook her head. She said she felt cold. Then she lay down. Rosa called me an hour later. Liam nodded. "I called ahead. The ER will be ready." Inside the hospital, everything moved fast. Doctors, nurses, questions, wires, machines. Emma stood beside the bed as a nurse inserted the IV. Liam stayed near the doorway. His face was pale, his jaw tight, but he did not leave. Lily stirred once, then again. Emma leaned down. "I am here. Sweet girl. Mama is here." Lily opened her eyes, just a little. "Mama, my head hurts." "I know. Baby, they are helping you." Liam stepped closer. She looked up at him. "Lily," she said gently, "this is Liam. He is my friend." Lily turned her head, slowly. Her eyes met his. "You look like me," she whispered. Liam froze. He knelt beside the bed, gently. "Maybe that means I am special," he said softly. Lily gave the tiniest smile, then closed her eyes again. The doctor came in 30 minutes later. "Viral infection, could be flu, could be RSV. We will monitor her overnight, just to be safe." Emma nodded. Her legs felt weak. She sat beside the bed, one hand on Lily's leg, the other covering her mouth. Liam stood by the window, his hands in his pockets. He spoke without turning. "Is this always how it feels?" Emma looked at him. "What?" "This fear." She nodded slowly. "Every time she coughs too hard, or sleeps too long, or cries in the middle of the night?" He exhaled. "I do not know how you did this alone." Emma looked back at Lily. "I did not have a choice." Hours passed. Lily slept. Emma curled in a chair, her back stiff, her thoughts blurry. Liam sat across the room, his elbows on his knees, staring at the floor. The silence between them was no longer uncomfortable. It was shared. At some point, Lily woke. She looked better. Her color had returned, her eyes clearer. "Mama," Emma sat up. "I am right here." Lily blinked, then turned. "Is Liam still here?" He stood and walked to the bed. "I am here." She smiled, just a little. "You do not have to stay." "I want to," he said. Lily reached out, her small fingers brushed his. Emma watched as Liam carefully took her hand in his. He looked at her like he had found something he never knew he needed. That night, Liam insisted on driving them home. Emma sat in the front, Lily in the back, drowsy but stable. The streetlights painted the car in soft gold and gray. "You were calm," Emma said. "No," Liam replied. "I was terrified, but I had to look calm. For her. For you." Emma turned to him. "That is what being a parent is?" He nodded. "I want to learn, not just what she likes, but how to protect her, and how to protect you." Her breath caught. "You do not have to protect me." He looked at her. "Maybe not, but I want to." At the apartment, Emma carried Lily inside. Rosa had left soup and blankets. The small space smelled like home. Liam stepped inside slowly. He looked at the photos on the wall, crayon drawings, a height chart on the doorframe, a faded teddy bear on the couch. He sat on the edge of the sofa, quiet, watching. Emma laid Lily in bed. She brushed her hair back, kissed her forehead, whispered something only a mother would say. Then she returned to the living room. Liam was holding one of Lily's drawings. It showed 3 stick figures again. But this time, the label under the tallest one said only Liam. Emma sat across from him. "She added your name last week," she said. "I did not tell her to." He looked at the drawing. "She is smart. She sees more than I think she does." He looked up. "So do I." Emma smiled softly. For the first time in days, they sat in silence for a while. Then Liam said quietly, "I am not perfect, but I will never disappear again." Emma leaned back. "Then stay, day by day. That is all I ask." The morning after the hospital felt still. Lily's fever had passed. Her cheeks had color again. She ate toast. She giggled at cartoons. She showed Emma her newest drawing, a purple horse with wings. Emma smiled and kissed the top of her head. There was peace, but peace never stayed long. At 8 in the morning, the phone rang. It was Janice. "You should come in early," she said. "Something is happening. I think you need to see it before everyone else." Emma dressed quickly. She left Lily with Rosa and took the early train downtown. The elevator to the 34th floor moved slower than usual. Or maybe it was just her thoughts that felt heavy. When the doors opened, she stepped out into silence. Not the good kind. People were talking, but quietly, in corners, behind their hands, their eyes glanced toward her, then away. Emma walked to her desk. Janice was waiting. Her face looked tight with worry. She handed Emma a folded newspaper. Emma opened it slowly. The front page showed a picture. It was her, holding Lily in her arms, outside the hospital. Liam stood beside her, one hand resting on her shoulder. The headline read, CEO's Secret Child, Former Assistant at Center of Scandal. Emma stared at it. Her mouth went dry. Another photo showed her apartment building. The article mentioned her name, her background, and her connection to Liam. It questioned Lilia's father. It described Emma as a strategic climber with a possible motive. She could not read the rest. Behind her, a door opened. She turned and saw Liam. He looked at the paper in her hands. His expression was unreadable. "Come inside," he said. She followed him. His office was dim. The blinds were drawn. Folders were stacked across the desk. His jacket was off. His sleeves rolled to the elbows. "How did they get this?" she asked. "We are still investigating," he replied. Emma held the paper tighter. "They think I did this." Liam said nothing. She looked at him, stunned. "You do believe them?" He shook his head once. "I did not say that." "You did not have to," she said. He moved behind the desk, picked up a document, put it back down. "The board is in panic. Clients are pulling back. The media is waiting outside. This company is bleeding." "And you think I did this for attention?" she asked. Her voice rose, just slightly. "You think I wanted this?" He looked up. "I do not know what to think. That is the problem." Emma stepped back. "For 5 years, I raised her by myself. I worked nights. I gave up everything. I never told you. Not once. Not even when I could not pay rent." She held his gaze. "And now, after 1 week near you, you think I sold our story." Liam did not respond. He rubbed his temples, then looked away. "Someone did this," he said quietly. Emma turned to the door. "You know what hurts," she whispered. "Not the article, not the gossip, not even the lies." She paused. "It is you." Then she left. The day moved like fog. Emma sat at her desk. She tried to work, but the whispers were louder than the keys under her fingers. Someone walked past and muttered the word, "gold digger." She heard it. She said nothing. At 2 in the afternoon, the head of security arrived. He walked straight into Liam's office. 10 minutes later, Liam opened the door. "Emma, come in." She entered with slow steps. Janice stood in the corner. The security chief, Miguel, held a tablet in one hand and a folder in the other. "We found the source of the leak," he said. Emma folded her arms. "Who was it?" Miguel opened the folder. "It was Cassandra Drake." Emma blinked. "The recruiter." Liam nodded. "We dated a few years ago, briefly." Miguel continued. "She saw you at the office, recognized you from years ago. She hired a private investigator, then sold the story to the press." Emma felt like the floor had shifted beneath her. "She did this to destroy me." "She did this to hurt both of you," Miguel said. Janice stepped forward. "We will make a public statement. Clear your name. You have done nothing wrong." Emma nodded, but her voice did not come. She turned to Liam. "You doubted me." He looked at her. "I am sorry. You should have known," she said. Then she left. That night, Emma sat on the floor of Lilia's room. The lights were low, the hallway quiet. Lily slept with her arm around a stuffed giraffe. Emma leaned her head against the edge of the bed. The news article had been taken down from some websites, but others kept it. The photos were everywhere now. She closed her eyes. I tried to keep her out of this. The words were barely spoken. She reached for Lily's small hand. It was warm, alive, trusting. A single tear slipped down her cheek. She wiped it away and breathed. 3 days passed. Emma said little at work. She arrived on time, completed every task, answered emails, took notes in meetings, but her voice was quieter, her steps slower. She spoke to Liam only when needed. He noticed. Of course he did. But he said nothing, and that was worse than anything else. On Thursday morning, she arrived early. The sky outside was still gray. A steady drizzle streaked the windows. She placed her coat on the back of her chair, opened her tablet, reviewed the daily calendar. Then she saw the sticky note on her screen. Lunch. Today. Please. No name. No explanation. Just handwriting she knew by heart. At noon, she walked to the top floor. The private lounge was quiet. A table by the window held 2 plates. Water. No flowers. No music. Liam was already there. He stood when she walked in. Emma sat down. Slowly. Neither spoke for a full minute. Then Liam said it. I was wrong. She looked at him. I doubted you. I knew who you were. I saw what you did for Lily, but I let fear speak louder than truth. Emma said nothing. He continued. That morning in the hospital, I felt something I had never felt before. Like my world had shifted. I wanted to protect both of you. But the moment the headlines came, I froze. His voice was low, careful. I have been trained to manage crisis, to read people, to take control. But this was different. Emma stared out the window. The damage is already done. I know. People will always see me that way now. A woman who chased a man for power. He leaned forward. Then let me change that story. How? She asked. By showing them the truth. That you never asked for anything. That you gave me a daughter without asking for my name. That I am the one who needed to prove myself worthy. Emma met his gaze. You broke something when you doubted me. I know that too. He looked down at his hands. I want to be in Lily's life. I want to learn how to be her father, but I also want to be someone you can trust again. His voice cracked. Just slightly. Tell me what to do. Emma looked at him for a long time. You cannot fix this with flowers, or lunches, or speeches. I know. You have to show up, not just once, but always. Through the quiet days, through the storms, through every single thing I went through alone. Liam nodded. I will. She stood. He stood with her. Liam, she said. Yes. She already forgave you. He blinked. I am not sure why. Because she is 4, and her heart is still open. Emma paused. Mine takes longer. Liam swallowed hard. I will wait. Emma nodded once, then walked out of the room. That evening, Liam stood outside her apartment building. He did not ring the bell. He just stood there, hands in his pockets, watching the windows. One light was on, in Lily S. room. He stayed there for 10 minutes, then turned and walked away. Inside, Emma was helping Lily brush her teeth. The child looked up at her with foam on her chin. Mama. Yes. Baby. Is Liam mad at me? Emma knelt beside her. No, sweet girl. He is not mad at anyone. Lily thought for a moment. Is he my daddy? Emma smiled gently. Yes. Lily nodded. That is what I thought. Emma tilted her head. Why, because he looks at me the way you do. Emma felt her breath catch. She hugged her daughter close. Lily leaned into her chest. He can come back if he wants. Emma kissed her hair. We will see. That night, Emma could not sleep. She sat on the couch, a cup of tea in her hands. The apartment was quiet. Lily was safe. The storm outside had passed. But inside her, the wind still moved. She knew Liam had stood outside earlier. She had seen him from the window. She had not gone to him, but she had not told him to leave either. Somewhere in between was where they both stood now, not broken, not whole, but willing. It was Sunday afternoon. The air smelled like warm grass and distant rain. In the park near her apartment, Emma sat on a wooden bench beneath a maple tree. Lily ran ahead with her tiny backpack bouncing. A purple ribbon trailed from her ponytail. Emma watched her daughter laugh. Then she heard footsteps. Liam walked toward them. No suit, no briefcase, just a navy sweater, jeans, and a paper bag in his hand. He looked unsure. Emma stood. You came, she said. You said we could try. She nodded once. Lily turned. When she saw him, she stopped running. Her face went quiet for a moment, then she smiled. You came back. Liam smiled, too. I said I would. Lily ran up to him. Did you bring snacks? Liam held up the paper bag. Peanut butter sandwiches, no crust, apple slices, 2 juice boxes. Emma raised an eyebrow. Liam shrugged. Janice helped. Lily took the bag and sat cross-legged on the grass. Sit with me, she said. Liam sat. They opened the bag together. Emma watched from the bench. Her hands were folded. Her heart cautious. But it was happening. Later, Lily dragged him to the swings. Liam pushed gently, one hand steady on her back. Each time she swung forward, she shouted a new animal name. Penguin, tiger, otter, he laughed. Are we naming zoo animals? No, she said. I am naming who I feel like. He tilted his head. And today you feel like an otter. Yes, fast, slippery, cute. He nodded. All true. Emma smiled. Her chest felt tight, but not from fear this time. That evening, back at the apartment, Emma handed Liam a book. Lily's favorite, she said. Would you read it tonight? He looked surprised. Are you sure? She is. Lily climbed into bed and pulled the blankets up to her chin. The book was about a bear who built a boat. Liam sat beside the bed. He cleared his throat. Once upon a time, there was a bear who could not swim. His voice was soft, low, each word slow and gentle. Lily listened with wide eyes. At the end of the story, she asked, Will you read again tomorrow? Liam looked at Emma. If your mother says yes. Emma nodded. Yes. Lily smiled. Good. You do funny bear voices. Outside in the hallway, Emma stood with Liam. You did well, she said. He ran a hand through his hair. My heart was racing the entire time. That is normal. He looked down the hallway. She is incredible. Emma nodded. She is? He paused. Can I come again tomorrow? Emma studied his face. No big gestures, no promises you cannot keep. Only stories and snacks, I promise. She gave a small smile. Then yes. He turned to leave. Before he reached the door, he said, Thank you for trusting me. Emma replied softly, You are earning it. That night, Emma sat on the porch alone. The stars peeked through the clouds. She wrapped a blanket around her shoulders. Her phone buzzed. One message. Tell her the bear will come back tomorrow. She smiled, then closed her eyes. Maybe this was how healing started, Not in loud moments, but in the quiet ones, with voices reading bedtime stories and sandwiches without crust. Spring came quietly to Seattle. The air smelled like wet earth and blooming things each day. Liam came by, not with gifts, not with grand plans, just himself. Some days he brought a new book. Some days a small treat for Lily. Once a new soccer ball. Always simple, always thoughtful. Emma noticed, one Saturday morning, Lily burst into the kitchen. "Can Liam come to the zoo with us?" Emma looked up from her coffee. "The zoo? Yes. We have not been in a long time. The giraffes miss me." Emma smiled. Lily grinned wider. "I want him to see the otters." They met at the front gates just after 10 in the morning. Liam wore a green jacket. He carried a small backpack filled with snacks and wipes. Lily took his hand right away. Inside, the three of them walked slowly. They stopped often. At the lion enclosure, Liam explained how cats mark their territory. At the flamingo pond, he leaned down and whispered facts. Lily repeated later, like magic spells. Emma walked a few steps behind, watching, listening, smiling, sometimes. At lunch, they sat on a bench near the sea lion pool. Liam handed out peanut butter sandwiches. No crust. Lily leaned against his side, tired from walking. Emma unwrapped her sandwich and said softly, "You are good at this." Liam looked surprised. "I read a lot." "That is not what I meant." He looked down, then said, "I want to be better than what I feared I could be." Emma looked at him for a long time. "You are trying? Every day?" On the way home, Lily fell asleep in the car. Her head rested against Liam's arm in the back seat. Emma drove. The road was quiet. Trees lined the street. Soft sunlight filtered through the branches. Emma spoke without looking back. "You know, she has never fallen asleep beside anyone else." Liam said nothing at first. Then, "That means everything." That evening, after dinner, Emma stepped onto the porch. Liam followed, holding 2 mugs of tea. They sat together, in the quiet. No music, no television, just the sound of wind through the trees. Emma held her mug close. "Lily said you are her favorite reader. She said I do the best monster voices." Emma laughed. "You do." They sat in silence for a while. Then Liam asked, "Do you ever think about that night in New Orleans?" Emma looked up. "Sometimes." He nodded. "I think about it often." She waited. He continued, "Not because of the way it ended, but because, even before I knew about Lily, I remembered how I felt that night, like I had found something real." Emma stared at the steam rising from her cup. "I left because I was scared of what real could become." Liam turned to her. "And now," she met his eyes, "I am still scared. But, but I am not running." Inside, Lily called for water. Emma stood. Liam stood too. "Good night," she said. "Good night." He paused, then added, "I will be here tomorrow." She nodded. "I know." The garden behind the house smelled like spring. Magnolia trees swayed in the breeze. White petals danced across the grass. A wooden arch stood at the center, wrapped in soft linen and lavender. Emma stood behind the screen door. She held a bouquet of wildflowers. Her dress was cream-colored, simple, flowing, the kind that did not try to shine. It just belonged. Rosa stood beside her, straightening the edge of her sleeve. "You are ready," she said softly. Emma took a breath. Outside, chairs had been set up in a half circle. Close friends, a few neighbors, Janice, Miguel, people who had walked beside them, and at the front, under the arch, stood Liam. He wore no tie. His shirt sleeves were rolled once. In his hands, he held a small ring box. And next to him, holding a wooden sign in her arms, was Lily. The sign read, "Today we become one family." The music began. Emma stepped forward. Each step was slow, gentle. She saw Liam's eyes soften. Lily grinned wide. Her shoes sparkled. When Emma reached the arch, she took Lily's hand first, then Liam's. The woman standing before them was a close friend of Rosa, a retired teacher. She held no script, just warmth. "We are here," she said, "not to start a new story, but to honor the one already written." Liam spoke first. He turned to Emma. "You came into my life twice, once when I needed you but did not know it, and again when I finally understood what love looks like." He looked at Lily. "You gave me more than a daughter. You gave me a reason to grow up, to stay, to become—" He looked back at Emma. "I promise to choose you, even when it is hard, even when it is quiet, especially then." Emma's voice shook just slightly. "I spent a long time building walls, out of fear, out of habit, but you never tried to climb over them. You just stood on the other side, patient, present." She touched his hand. "You are not perfect, neither am I, but you are kind and steady, and you love her the way she deserves." She looked at Lily. "And I love both of you." They exchanged rings. Lily handed them over, with careful fingers. Then she clapped before anyone else. Everyone laughed, and in that moment, something settled. Not loudly, but deeply. Later, at the small table near the porch, Emma watched Liam lift Lily into his lap. She wore a crown of flowers and carried a cookie in each hand. "This is the best day ever," she said. "Why?" Liam asked. "Because now you are my real daddy." "You already made me your daddy," he said. "Today just made it official." Emma leaned against the post beside them. Her eyes shimmered, but she said nothing. Lily looked at both of them. "Can we have pancakes tomorrow?" Liam grinned. "Yes, but I get to flip them." Emma laughed. "Just do not set off the smoke alarm." That night, after everyone had gone, Liam carried Lily to her room. She was half asleep, her arms wrapped around his neck. Emma watched from the doorway. He laid her down gently, covered her with the soft yellow blanket. "Read the Bear book," she mumbled. "Of course." He opened it, read slowly, his voice calm. She fell asleep before he reached the end. Emma walked over, pulled the blanket higher, kissed Lily's forehead. They stepped out together, in the hallway. Liam took her hand. "You still scared?" Emma nodded. "Sometimes." He squeezed gently. "I am still here." She looked up at him. "And so am I." The seasons passed. Their life was not perfect. There were missed alarms, late meetings, dirty dishes, homework battles, rainy soccer games. But there was laughter, and quiet mornings, and stories at bedtime. One afternoon, 5 years later, Liam sat on the porch steps with a baby girl in his lap. She reached for a toy in his pocket. Inside the house, Lily, now 10, practiced piano with loud confidence. Emma stood in the doorway, hair pulled back, an apron tied around her waist, a smudge of flour on her cheek. Liam looked up and smiled. "She wants to eat the piano," he said, nodding at the baby. Emma laughed. "She is hungry for knowledge." He chuckled. "That is your line, and you are stealing it." He stood, walked over, kissed her forehead. The baby squealed between them. Emma looked around. The garden was still there. The magnolia tree had grown taller, and in her heart, something whispered, "Full circle, Sometimes, the people we try hardest to protect are the ones who need the truth the most. This story reminds us that life does not always follow a straight path. It bends, it delays, it brings people back when we least expect them. It teaches us that love is not proven by grand words, but by small actions repeated over time. It asks us to be brave, to face the past, to forgive, not because it is easy, but because healing needs room to grow. For parents, it is a gentle reminder that showing up matters more than perfection. For anyone who has been hurt, it is proof that trust can be rebuilt, even when time has passed, even when fear remains. What we carry in silence can sometimes become the bridge to something new. And sometimes, the second chance is not just for love, it is for family and for peace. Thank you for spending your time with this story. If it touched your heart, if it reminded you of something true, please consider clicking like, share it with someone who may need a little hope today. And if you would like to hear more stories like this, you can subscribe to the channel. Your support means more than words. See you in the next story.